A deadly rampage on the streets of Tokyo after a man ran a truck into a crowd and then jumped out wielding a knife. The attack happened in daylight in the Akihabara district, very popular with tourists and especially with young people. Little is known about the 25-year-old man who is now in custody with police.
We do know is this happened in the middle of the day at 12:30 in the afternoon Tokyo time. The area was packed with tourists and with locals. This is an area, as you mentioned, that's known as Electric City. It's a shopping area. It's also popular with young people drawn there by anime culture. According to the police, a man ran into a crowd with his truck, jumped out, and then started stabbing people. A total of 17 people, at least 17 people have been stabbed. According to police, 3 people have died, a 19-year-old, a 47-year-old, and a 74-year-old man, and 2 others were seriously wounded. We've been able to learn from the fire department that he used some sort of a camping knife, one of those foldable survival knives that you take on a hike, but they were not able to confirm a motive at this point. There are some media reports, though, that the 25-year-old suspect was, quote, tired of life. Stephen?
So that's as much as we know about his motives. Let's talk a little more about the nature of this attack. Very rare at one time, but seeming to be increasing in frequency now in Japan.
Well, this is the second such high-profile mass stabbing that we've seen in recent history here in Japan. Just about a couple of months ago, on March 23rd, there was another shopping center-type stabbing, mass stabbing, when a man jumped out of into a crowd, killed 1 person and injured 7 people, again wielding a knife. Violent crime here in Japan is extremely rare. It's relatively rare, but when there is some sort of a crime, especially anything that's done in public, it does receive a lot of press. And in this country's case, firearms are relatively rarely used. It is usually some sort of large knife that's used when there's some sort of crime like this even.
Is this area still as crowded as it used to be when I lived there? This is almost like a farmer's market for electronic bits and pieces. You know, you can buy chips or transistors out of bins there, and it's so crowded you can't swing a cat.
Exactly, and if you know the area, this is a stone's throw from where the train line is. So this is an extremely popular area. A lot of people go there shopping, but something else that's drawn people in recent years is the anime culture. There are a lot of young people who go there dressed up in various costumes, and they go there for this cultural awakening where they get to play out their imagination, what you see in the comic strips or in movies. So it's a really populated area, and a lot of American tourists, international tourists, do head to this area because it is such a colorful place. So for something like this to happen on a weekend in the middle of the day is something that is certainly going to be gathering a lot of public scrutiny as to how and why this happened.
And do we have any sense yet as to how people might respond, whether it's going to chill the crowds that normally would gather there, frighten them away?
It's hard to say, but, you know, as we've indicated, it is so relatively rare for crime to happen here. It's really hard to gauge exactly how people are going to react.